I'm Lois Sonstegard again, and what I want to talk with you about today is the fourth key to unlocking the success for leadership and for building your career. So this one's all about what is it that you do to control your destiny. Destiny is not fate. You know, when I was growing up, I used to hear fate, what you do and what happens is all luck. And then people would go on and say, yes, but luck is what you do, the elbow grease you put into making things work, right? Well, destiny is not fate. Fate is something that kind of happens to you. There are a lot of people that have bad things happen. Fate may have dealt them some tough cards, and yet they overcome and they create an incredible future and destiny. So what happens to us doesn't necessarily control what we become. So let me give you an example of that. Many years ago, when we were first having a family, our oldest child was born prematurely and with multiple problems. And by the time he was in third grade, we were told after 40 hours of grueling testing that he probably would never read, write, or do math. And we took him to other places to have a second opinion, and the opinion was confirmed. And so you sit back as parents and you go, what do I do with this diagnosis? And I said to my husband, you know, we can't change the diagnosis as such. We have to prepare for the worst case scenario. And once we prepared for the worst case scenario, then we begin to plan for the future, a destiny that we maybe can control. It's a future that's built on hope. It may not happen, but we can move in that direction. And so we put many systems in place, and many years later, he did go on, he was reading, he did do math, he went on, did his MBA, his CPA, and is now CFO of a Fortune 100 company. So what that taught me was we tend to look at things that may have happened. There are many of us who've gone through really tough times. I have friends who have been abused, who were raped, who have many things that have happened to them. Maybe they were orphaned. And yet they were able to come through that and create a marvelous future for themselves. They controlled their destiny. Fate did not control them. And so we want to take a look at, how do we do that? How do you control your destiny? Is it possible to do that in a logical fashion? Well, one of the things that we need to do is to look at, how do we attract success into our lives? You see, if we have attitudes that say that it can't be done, indeed, it can't be done. On the other hand, if we have a belief system that says, perhaps this is going to be a major obstacle, how do I find side paths, back doors to go through and perhaps navigate around, over it, under, whatever? And sometimes it's making a whole new channel that we had never thought of. But as we do that and we're successful, it attracts other success, doesn't it? People want to be around others who are successful. And so it's really important that we begin to look at, what is it that I'm putting out there? Am I communicating a sense of it can't be done? There's failure. I can't surpass that. Or do we look at it as, they're obstacles, these are challenges, now let's embrace it and move forward and get past it? Because when there's that attitude, people do respond. It needs to be realistic, you need to have a fallback plan, and you need to be able to look at, what do you do if that doesn't work? Because blind optimism is not success either. There has to be a realism that goes with what you do and how you do things. And so for me, always, I take a look at what's the worst case scenario and begin planning for it. I need to know that if the worst happens, I'm ready, I have strategies, I know what I'm going to do so it doesn't overwhelm me when it happens. Because you see, if I'm overwhelmed, I may stoop even lower than people originally thought where I was going to land. And I don't want to be there, right? You don't either. So you want to be able to know what it is that you want to attract. Put it out there. Let people know what it is. Our attitude governs so much. When we have a negative attitude, we tend to attract negative attitude. When we have a positive attitude and a can-do attitude, we tend to attract others who also feel the same way. Fourth, for things to change, I must change. Otherwise, today is going to be just like yesterday, and tomorrow will be just like yesterday also. I have to change. And so one of the things that I get asked a lot, because I do executive coaching and coaching for business people, is why do I need a coach, right? Many people will ask me that question. Well, let me ask you. I don't know if you're a triathlete or a tennis player or somebody involved in another sport, hockey. I have children who are involved in all sorts of sports. And in order to be successful, every one of them has a coach in that sport. When I played tennis, I had a coach. I wasn't going to go play tennis without knowing what to do, right? I wanted to know how to hit that ball correctly and how to serve. So we know that coaches add value. It's really odd that when it comes to work, we think we can do it alone. We can navigate all the problems, all the challenges by ourselves. Coaches help you to look at what your possibilities are and allow you to take the actions that will really produce the results that you're wanting to produce, get you to where it is that you're wanting to get. And so if you're going to change yourself, you need people who will reflect back and help you to change yourself. Otherwise, our nature is to just keep doing things the same old way, right? And the same old way, well, if that's what we want, it will always be the same. Nothing will be different. We won't control our destiny. Destiny controls us. The fifth is what we are and what we become depends on where we spend our time. Oh, time is such an elusive thing, isn't it? We get pushed and pulled in so many different directions, and it many times is overwhelming. Where we spend time is where we are moving. That's what we prioritize. And so one of the worksheets that I have for you that I really want you to spend some time working with is take 24 hours, list by the hour, what did you do? And then when you've done that for all 24 hours, look back on it. Divide your sheet in half and look at what was it that was serving me in getting towards the goal that I was wanting to get to, and what was deterring me from getting there. I think the first time I did that exercise, I was appalled at how I spent my time. I'm really time efficient, I thought. I'm very focused. I'm very driven. And yet there were places and ways that I was using time that was wasteful. It wasn't getting me to where I was wanting to go. So take a look at that for yourself, and it will help us in our discussions as we work in our groups. And I so look forward to your thoughts. Please get back to us, make comments, share what your struggles are, what your thoughts are, what your ideas are, how you've navigated some of this in your own life. Whatever you've learned, it's always helpful to other people. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments. Thanks so much.